Hercules needed on his team? Admiral Akbar, because he walked into so many traps and they were all so obvious. It was totally frustrating to watch. There were a lot of frustrating elements in Hercules, at least in my opinion, and this is the place to discuss them, the spoiler review. If you have not yet seen Hercules, you can check out my non-spoiler review by clicking here, and then come back and watch this video after you've seen the film. But I suspect a lot of people won't be seeing Hercules, and whose fault is it? I actually don't think it's Brett Ratner. I don't think Brett Ratner did as good a job as I was expecting or hoping, but he didn't drop the ball. He delivered enough. I think the real person at fault here, and I'm sorry to say it, but I think it's Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because once again, he's all about concept, but not about execution, not about the follow-through. I think somebody goes up to The Rock and says, "Want to play Hercules?" And he goes, "Heck yeah!" And he doesn't even bother to read the script, because if he had, he would have seen that this was going to probably be a dud for him. Some people are enjoying it though, so I don't want to, I don't want to trash it too hard, because as I said in my non-spoiler review, a lot of kids really loved this movie when I watched it. It very much is a Saturday morning cartoon, a standard Saturday morning cartoon, not one of those standouts. It follows the formula to a T, but just ended up being a little bit boring and predictable and slow, in my opinion. And maybe that's because I'm so familiar with the Saturday morning cartoon format at this point. And little kids, it's all new to them. And of course, this formula has been around for a long time because it obviously works. And it works here, I guess, for a younger audience. I'm talking like little kids, like, tweens and below, not even teens. Which is surprising considering all the skin in this movie. But it's not too much skin. It's enough that, I think it's fine. Just enough for your kids to be like, maybe I shouldn't be watching this? And don't tell them that it's okay. Give it a little bit of that taboo quality, which I think helps to make these films really stick out for us when we're little. All right, so this is, I said again, the spoiler review, and what works, I think seems to work for us is going through it by character. So we're going to start off with The Rock, aka Hercules. I could see why Dwayne Johnson would think it would be cool to play this character. He certainly looks the closest I've ever seen, and he's in full display here. I mean, it's like almost as if he's not wearing a shirt, because he just looks so ridiculously buff and big. You're like, he's beyond mere mortal flesh. I mean, if anyone was the half son of a god, it would be Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I think he's such a likable, nice guy. He has a wonderful smile. I just think he just screams hero. And as you watch him on the screen, you're like, of course a comic book company would want to scoop him up. However, I think that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, maybe it's from his wrestling days, who knows, but I think he still has this mindset of being there for the kids, being a family-friendly hero. And that's why I think a lot of you are saying, oh, he's going to be Black Adam. I don't think The Rock has it in him to play Black Adam. I think he's a good actor, I think he's believable, but I think he can't do anything but play Dwayne Johnson. Maybe with longer hair, half son of a god in great Greek ancient times, but he's not a character actor. I think it would be a huge mistake for him to be Black Adam. He has a hard enough time being a mercenary. I mean, he's mercenary in name only. I mean, you're like, that he's not going to be evil. Although this team really should do their due diligence, don't you think, before they take on jobs? That's the lesson I would have taken away from this whole encounter if I was on this team. So, as I said in my non-spoiler review, we're expecting these epic battle sequences because they're what's promised to us in the trailer, the feats of Hercules, but that's only really done quickly in flashback with about as much time as is focused on in the trailer. This is all about how Hercules is not a myth, but actually just a man. And I think that is a really interesting lesson, especially for a movie that's there for kids. The idea that, we're not predestined or preordained to be a hero. We can make ourselves into a hero if that is what we desire. And I think that's a wonderful lesson, because I think it's, you don't want to discourage someone saying, oh, well, it's not in the cards for you. It's like, it could be, just play that card, go get it yourself. And I think that's great. Wouldn't it be great if Hercules ran into Jake Gyllenhaal's character from Nightcrawler? I'm kind of in love with that speech right now that he gives about being a self-made person. But anyway, so The Rock, I mean, he does the best that he can. He's a very kind Hercules. It's just, he's in Hercules costume. And I think this definitely has kid appeal. And while he was training the soldiers in the movie, I was like, oh, I can see Herc's training camp at a theme park now. Too bad, well, I mean, this is a Paramount movie. And they have some theme parks, I think, overseas. So maybe you'll be seeing that in a country near you. But they don't have any thing here, unless they want to license the property out to someone else. But I don't think this is going to be a big box office hit enough to to really warrant that. But as I said, if I were DC, I'd be a little nervous because as I said, The Rock, not only does he have no range, but he doesn't disappear into the character. All right, so that's Hercules. Let's move on to his team. As I said, Admiral Ackbar should have been there, but the rest of the team wasn't bad. I thought everybody kind of stood out, actually. They had 2 Norwegians there, interestingly enough. Axel Hennie, who played like this silent, deranged killer who was like a wounded animal, literally. And I thought he did a very good job making me care for a character that was a bloodthirsty savage and never spoke during the film. Although we all knew he would speak at some point, as he did. I thought he was going to say thank you or something, but I guess by saying Hercules, it just showed how important that legend was, even if it wasn't true. And I thought that was a nice sentiment. That was the one point in the movie where it got me. So kudos to that actor. I also thought that Ingrid Bolso-Berdal, as the lone female on the team, also did a nice job. She would just scream Saturday morning cartoon. She just looked like so much like the characters we so often see, even from the high ponytail, which is a Saturday morning cartoon staple. And she was like a member of the team. She was a little bit cheeky, as the female character usually is, but she did fit in. She didn't just, rub up against the guys, for the sake of doing that as the woman on the team. She did a nice job, and she held her own in the battle sequences, realistically so. There's been a lot of talk with Wonder Woman in the comment section I've been seeing about women being strong. Can women take a hit in a fight? And also, by the way, some disturbing comments that I was not happy about women raped in battle. I mean, I don't know where that's coming from. I mean, I know that obviously happens in war, but not on the battlefield in the middle of battle. I don't know. So I think maybe some of you will say I'm naive, but I don't know why that would come up in a situation in a movie. So anyway, those 2 actors both did a very nice job. Also, of course, Ian McShane and Rufus Sewell, they could play these roles in their sleep. Although I liked the look on Rufus Sewell. He looked great with his close-shaved head and beard, just kind of like a thin layer of hair all around. It worked for him. He has those great piercing eyes. He was the good-looking wise guy, by the way. Very attractive team of mercenaries. I think pretty unusual for mercenaries, but made it a little more interesting for me to watch. And then also Rhys Ritchie as Hercules' nephew also did a really nice job. Oh, by the way, it was this guy's job to tell the legend of Hercules. And of course, a lot of you were wondering, actually, whether or not they would delve into the darker parts of that mythology, that Hercules killed his wife and children. And they do. But as in typical Hollywood fashion, and because The Rock's playing Hercules, he's been tricked into thinking he killed his family. That was actually a conspiracy to turn the city of Athens against him, because the king, as we find out later on, I'll get to Joseph Fiennes in a little bit, but he was jealous of Hercules, and so he set that all up so that public opinion would turn on him. So it was a believable scenario. Because who would ever believe that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would kill his family? But I mean, the idea of maybe madness and war, I thought maybe that was one of the reasons he would get along so well with this other character played by that Norwegian actor who had such a difficult time. I thought maybe that was something they were going to play up. But this is not a deep film. And of course, the hero has to be redeemed, because in a Saturday morning cartoon, the hero does not kill his wife and children, no matter what the circumstances might be. So I thought that was a nice way of keeping that intact and, in my respecting that part of the legend, but yet again explaining how the legend differed from reality. But Rhys Ritchie did a very nice job. I like that they played up the ethnicity of Dwayne Johnson. Rhys Ritchie was very charming, and he again was the egghead of the Saturday morning cartoon brigade, which of course is another popular role that is always there. But he did a nice job. Also, I have to say, this movie just was so slow. Like, when this team was like, now we have to train them, I was like, oh God, no. Can we just skip through that, please? Just the fight. And then I was like, I remember from the trailer that Herc was in chains at one point in this movie, and he's not in chains yet, which means we have a long way to go. They have to be careful about not telegraphing points in the movie too much in the trailer, because I had the same problem with Pacific Rim, where they're like, who will be Charlie Hunnam's new partner? And I was like, I know who it's going to be. It's going to be that Japanese actress, because I've seen it in all the trailers. So can we just skip this whole montage or sequence, because I already know how it ends. Now let's move on to John Hurt. This was funny. I thought it was hilarious that at the end of the movie, when John Hurt was trying to get his troops, his soldiers, to go after Hercules, that he kept saying the most horrible things that he could to Hercules while Hercules was trying to push over that sculpture of Hera. I would have been saying the nicest things. I'd be like, Hercules, why are you fighting us? Why? These men didn't do anything to you. You're really going to kill them. These were once your soldiers. Why add fuel to Herc's internal fire when he's trying to do an incredible feat of strength by being like, and this was the kicker when he was like, and it was the kicker because it made Hercules have the strength to push over this giant statue when he's like, your wife and children deserve to die. I'd be like, You're just begging for it, John Hurt. And I just wonder how John Hurt, of course, a very well-trained and regarded actor, feels delivering these types of lines. Although I'm sure he just thinks of his paycheck. He was convincing in the role, and he did a nice job. I mean, he was what he needed to be. King douchebag #1. I mean, it's like King Joffrey's future, if he'd grown up, this is who he would have become. Then on to Rebecca Ferguson, who played his daughter. Not really anything to do. I mean, she was just like your typical, damsel in distress. I thought it was funny that just like any kind of like road traveler, like lone warrior movie, he flirts with the female love interest who, of course, always has a kid by talking about their kid. Oh, your kid's great. Thanks, I love my kid. And you're all just like, you guys are seriously flirting about this kid. Good thing there is a kid, or what would you talk about? So I thought that was amusing. But the character was good. I thought the twist with her was not bad. I thought for a moment that Rhesus, the guy they were fighting that she was sympathetic towards, was the father of her son, because the way she kept paying so much attention to him, even during battle, she was feeding him arrows. And I was like, I think there's something going on there. But, I don't think Hercules was that interested in her anyway long term. He still missed his wife, which was, commendable. But Rebecca Ferguson, she did an okay job. She was just, typical female role in these kinds of movies. Then Joseph Fiennes, as I said, kind of an embarrassing role for him. He was so poorly used and used so little that it was just like, why are you here, Joseph Fiennes? And also, why would anybody pay Joseph Fiennes for this role? He wasn't needed. He wasn't that recognizable, largely not only because of the hair they gave him, but because he doesn't work that much anymore. And I don't think anybody would be like, should I see Hercules? I'll look through the cast. Nobody looks that good. Oh, Joseph Fiennes for a few moments. Okay, I'll go. I just would have saved some money there. And then on to Brett Ratner. Don't think it's his fault, I just want to reiterate that. I think that Brett Ratner did a nice job. There were some good shots here. It's coming through the smoke. He did a good job in some of the battle sequences, especially when they were fighting. I thought it was interesting to watch. What was one good thing to take away? This old Greco-Roman style of warfare, the way they handled shields and flanking, etc. The different stages of fighting on a battlefield, one-on-one, not one-on-one, but army on army, before guerrilla warfare became the tactic of the day. I believe, that, of course, American history, the American Revolution, because the Indians also as well, but for a very long period of time, everybody would very respectfully meet out on a battlefield and fight it out that way. It seems ridiculous when you think about it, especially today, but that's the way it was done. So that was some nice parts of the film. But as I said, Brett Ratner didn't do what I'd hoped. He didn't do the iconic shots that are at the beginning of the movie that are focused on in the trailer, such as fighting the Hydra, fighting the lion, the boar, etc. Those were really gorgeous. And I guess maybe they didn't have the budget to do too many of those, so that's all they could afford. But then they shouldn't have put them all in the trailer. Because I think they should have been more honest. Because it just does Brett Ratner and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson a disservice when people actually show up at the theater, because they're not getting what they were promised. But I think Brett Ratner, you wouldn't watch this and be like, what hack directed this? I mean, he did a good job. Not a great job, but a good job. So I'd be curious to see what Brett Ratner does next. He's also a film financier at this point, financing some pretty big-name projects. So this is definitely a new chapter in the life of Brett Ratner, two-pronged, both behind the camera in terms of financing films and directing, and we'll see if he's able to have more success here as a director. I think he's already had a lot of success as a financier. So that's my spoiler review of Hercules. I'd be very curious to know what you guys thought of it. If you liked it, what do you think that I'm not getting about the movie? Because I know there are going to be a group of people who really enjoy this, and I think that's great. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it as well. And also, if you didn't like the movie, is it for the same problems that I had? And also, what do you think of Dwayne Johnson as someone to work for DC after seeing this film? Do you still think he could play Black Adam? Do you think, he's even better match for Shazam than we thought, because he's just seems so ingrained in that family-friendly mode? Or do you think that maybe he's a little bit just not high caliber enough for the DC Cinematic Universe, or at least where the DC Cinematic Universe needs to go to be competitive with with Marvel? I don't know if Dwayne Johnson has the acting chops to really be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I had originally said he'd make a great Apocalypse over at X-Men, but as I said, he can't go dark. I just don't think he can go dark. All right, so thank you so much again for tuning in, and you can check out some more episodes right now.